our first gen series, and we are very, very pleased today to have with us Professor Donna Hope, who is going to share with us some of her life stories, things that she's gone through in life, and hopefully the objective is that it will inspire each and every one of us listening. And so right now, let us welcome Professor Donna Hope. She's a professor of culture, gender, and society in the Institute of Caribbean Studies. She's a former deputy dean of graduate studies and research in the Faculty of Humanities and Education here at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. She's done a whole lot of research. She's an author, and one of the books that we're going to talk about a lot today is the book entitled Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights. Absolutely fascinating book, life lessons from her journey. And she wrote this book in 2019. She's a well-known media communicator. She communicates on cultural, social, political issues. And she is actually also a former director of the Institute of Caribbean Studies. So she does a lot of research in the area of popular culture and music, dancehall culture, youth development, Black masculinities, etc., etc., etc. So she is, as we all recognize, she is not a scientist, but we won't hold that against her. She is well accomplished in her field. And as I said, she is here to inspire us and to help us to see that, you know, you can make it through. You can make it through no matter what it is your station in life is, you can get there. So let us welcome Professor Donna Hope.
Hi everyone, I'm sure my camera is open. Hi everyone. I'm not sure if I'm being seen, but I hope everyone can see and hear me from my end. I can't see everything, but hi everyone. Good evening, and I'm not sure who I'm speaking to, how many students I'm speaking to, but I'm really pleased to be able to share with you this evening a little bit about myself and about my journey. Of course, I am a two-time graduate of the University of the West Indies Mona campus. Though I'm not a scientist, I think in an earlier life, I planned to be a medical doctor, but it didn't really work out that way. So I may have been doing something a little scientific, but then I ended up doing something very different. And so as a part of the first year experience and this first gen series, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. And of course, I have a little presentation, so I may show a little piece of it. And I talk mainly around this book. This is my Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights. It's a very small book, not a lot of reading, only 98 pages. It has 8 life lessons in it, which came out of my own experience as a Jamaican coming from the working classes. I'm from St. Catherine, Linton, St. Catherine, originally born and grew. And one of the things that is also important about my journey is that I am a high school dropout. So I dropped out of high school very early. At the end of 4th form, did not graduate. I got pregnant. And so all of my life journey becomes colored by 2 things: my family's own situation economically. I come from a very poor family. And then, of course, putting to that poverty, dropping out of high school made things very, very difficult. Nonetheless, there's a journey that occurs, and I cross over many barriers and end up being a full professor at UWI Mona after going through all the journeys of getting a first degree, a master's, and then traveling abroad on a Fulbright scholarship to get a PhD. So it's a lot of journeying inside of the journeys. And so I share a little bit about my journey. So one of the things that is important, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can share my screen. 2 monitors, which I did not set up my monitors. Let me see the screen I'm going to share. Why? Because I have an extra monitor, which I did not set up application window here. So I'm sharing my screen, and so this here is a little bit of my story. Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights, and this is a piece of my story. This is what the book cover looks like. It's we call it in academia vanity publishing. So that's my picture on it. I like that picture, and it was taken with a good Samsung phone in the studios of TBJ. I went to do a shoot of ER, which I do a lot of talking about dancehall culture. and those kinds of activities. So one of the things that my life is number one in that book, I talk about asking you who you are, who am I? And why do I ask that question? Because one of the things that I found out along my own journey as a university student, for example, as a woman trying to cross over, young woman, and carrying my own burdens and being economically challenged, was that I had to locate myself. Who am I? What is my basket with the water I'm carrying? What are the burdens that I'm carrying? What are the benefits that I'm carrying? What are the things that make me who I am? And so I had to think about that and talk to myself about it, because everybody listening to this presentation, everybody, adults, young adults, older adults, we are all human beings. We are equal, but we are also different. We have our own realities, we have our own problems, we have our own things that are good about us, we have our own positives, everything that goes with it. And I had to ask myself, who am I? Two of the most powerful words that you will ever ask yourself, because what comes after them, what your answer is going to be, that is going to shape your reality. So at the start of my journey, when I came to the University of the West Indies, I came as I had to start part-time because I had to work full-time. I am a responsible parent. I had a child. I was also the main breadwinner for my family at that time, and so I had to work. So I was working. I had part-time students, traveling from the state to work, and I'm hearing a
Professor
feedback.
Hope? Professor,
Yes.
I'm actually not seeing you on the screen.
Are you seeing anything at all?
Is your camera
I'm sharing.
off?
Are you seeing anything at all? Well,
no, I'm not.
I'm not seeing anything on the screen for me either. What's happening? I'm not seeing anything on the screen for me either. What's happening? I'm not there. My camera
I'm hearing
on.
you clearly.
Everything is on.
Everything is on.
Yes.
Okay.
I clicked all the buttons and everything is on, so I'm not sure what's happening.
And everything is on, so I'm not sure.
And I'm seeing a screen with my name on it, but there's nothing. The screen is blank. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. I'm not hearing you now. I think, have you muted your microphone? Because I'm not hearing anything now. And I should connect my second screen and see if it might help. Because I actually use two screens here, but it doesn't normally work with some of these studios. So I disconnected it. Let me see what happened with my second screen. It's powering up. We didn't get to do the test.
True.
My second screen is up, but this is not going across. Jump across this particular going across the second. So I can see two portals on my computer. I can't see myself on the screen. I can only see you.
I'm not sure.
Yes, and my camera is on because so let me okay, let me stop. Okay, now I think I found what was happening here. Can you see me now? Yes, I can see me now, so we can see me now. So I'm apologizing to the audience. I normally use a camera, so we can see me now. Let me continue. I was talking about my book and showing a little bit of my presentation.
Yes,
so I'm gonna go back to that
and showing a little bit of my presentation. So I'm gonna
and just to go back to what I had shown on the screen at the beginning, because I was go back to what I had shown on the screen at the beginning. Right. So now I can see two screens. So in a real sense, this is my. Are you hearing me? Okay. Are you seeing me? Okay. Hello. No, we are not. So I'll remove the screen. Are you hearing me? Okay, and seeing me? Okay. Yes. I'm assuming we are, so I will continue the presentation. So as I said, the life lessons, number one, know yourself. Who am I? And as I said, I asked myself that question quite a lot because of the way my journey was going and the kind of life I had to live. So many of our students will talk about the challenges they have, for example, to pay their school fees. In my book, Chicken Back Gravy and Socialize, I talk a lot about how I pay my way to university. For my first degree, I used my student's loan. So the student's loan bureau was very important as a part of my own journey. And it's referenced throughout the book quite a lot because it was very important. Because coming from a background where things were difficult and hard, even though I was working and I was a young adult, I didn't get to completely right out of high school, as you understand. And so I had to decide on how to pay for my university. And I had to decide on that pretty early because I wanted a degree, and I realized that having a first degree, whether it's in the sciences, which I had planned to come to, whether it was in the social sciences, was also what I had planned to come to. But where I ended up was in the faculty at that time called Arts and General Studies. It was FAGS. Now it's called the Faculty of Humanities and Education. So I ended up at the Faculty of Humanities and Education, and I did a first degree in mass communication. That's what it was called at that time. It was a very interesting journey for me because coming from a situation where, and my life lesson number 4, poverty is not a nice thing. Coming out of a situation where poverty is a reality, something that we face, something that we have to deal with every day. And the book, the title of my book, Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights. My apologies, it's a very loud meeting. So the top title of my book, Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights, really references and talks really to poverty. People who come from poor situations know what chicken back gravy is. People who don't will have heard about chicken back and probably see it being used in other ways to feed their pets maybe. Fry up and dusty girl a synonym for chicken for tin mackerel. But the kind of thing, dumpling and butter, fish back, the kind of things that people who go through poor situations have to deal with, and the way that it impacts on you. As a part of my journey at UWI, I had to be very careful about how I manage my resources. I started university part-time. I came to you part-time for 2 years because I had to work. I had to work. And at that time, the kind of options that students now have of working in the BPO, the telemarketing, that kind of thing where you can, work on the system during different hours and still get to come to classes and earn enough to cover your bills and to buy your food. We didn't have those options back then. I'm talking about, of course, I came to university in the early 90s as an undergraduate student. So things are very different now. Transportation options were also different. We did not have the kind of transportation options. They were far more limited. So you had to decide how you're making your way on campus, how you're going to get off, how you're going to get home. I lived in Linstead. I had a lot of stories of getting stranded at night in Spanish Town because the barge is blocked because it rained, and you have to figure it out, getting home at midnight. So I have a lot of these stories. But one thing that I recognized, for me, it was very important, was that, and I'm not going to talk about the father of the story, was that as someone coming from a backbone that is poor, you have to work a little harder. Labor omnia vincit, labor conquers all. The Latin, and you guys who are going to in the sciences are going to have already started dealing with a lot of Latin phrases and Latin terminologies. That was the motto of my high school, is the motto of my high school, St. Jago. I big up yourself. And so hard work will kill you. Pressure on a book. Those are some of the things that I kept in the back of my head as a part of my journey at the University of the West Indies on a campus. And also being very focused there. One of the things that was critical for me and along my journey was the idea that I've always held in my head. My mother taught me this from an early age, God rest her soul. Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela is saying, you have to dream big, you have to dream massive, you have to dream very large. One of my sayings, education travels well, renews itself, and appreciates with age. The University of the West Indies, Mona, where you are placed, and the University of the West Indies regionally, of which you are a part, very important in the region as well as globally. It's a first-class university, and a degree from the University of the West Indies. Mona campus, Cadell campus, St. Augustine campus, Oak campus is one that can take you across the world, travels well, renews itself, appreciates with age, and it gives you better options in life so that we understand the value of it. Understanding, of course, as Vibes Cartel says, and Cartel is one of the artists whose work I look at in my own work on Jamaican dancehall. Every ghetto youth is a star, and you're unstoppable. People have dreams, and coming to the University of West Indies, for me, as an undergraduate student was really about fulfilling some of the dreams I had as a child. Coming from the country, being from a poor background, they say you're bright, and they tell all of us from early out, I'm gonna be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer. Those are the dreams of many working class individuals, and even individuals, some other. And the doctor is, as I said at the outset, is a medical doctor. And so I believed that I would be a medical doctor. And I was at high school going through the ropes to be a medical doctor up until the time I dropped out at the end of fourth form. So I did chemistry, I did biology, I did physics, I did maths, I did all of those subjects because I was on my way to becoming a medical doctor. I was getting prepped to go on the school challenge with Steve for St. Jago High School, started prepping people from fourth form. And then I dropped out of high school and pregnant, and all of those dreams were put on the back burner. But one of the things that I always recognize, and that's my dog. Okay, yes, so that's my dog. One of the things that we recognize is that you have to be unstoppable as someone who is, whether you're a ghetto youth, you're a Jamaican youth, you're a poor youth, you're not so poor youth, you have your family support, you don't have the kind of family support that some people have. You're taking students loan, your family putting together the money, your parents have money put aside for you, you have a trust fund, whatever it is, you have to be unstoppable when you're heading towards your dreams. Dreaming big, dreaming massive, dreaming huge. And in this instance, one of your key dreams is really to get your education together and getting it, of course, and through the University of West Indies, Mona, which is my home, and is the place where I decided at the end of all my studies to continue working. And so I was very unstoppable, and I want to play my little thing. I have to play a little thing. I have to play a little piece of music for the students. In my praise them fall like rain. Some have a dream and a nightmare. Every day can't be the same. Them to the sky like rain. Praise them fall like rain. From me a little youth. Tell myself we have a plan. And it goes on. Journey did long. Ah, I need to play that last part. Where I come from. I love something young for dinner. And I pause it there because of course the journey from chicken back gravy to being able to have options for your dinner is something that people like myself, even as a full professor at the University of West Indies now, understands that long journey and the way that education, and I keep the slide up for a bit because education is a critical part of the journey, has proven invaluable. Let me say this, education for me has proven invaluable along my life's journey, which is one of the reasons why I continue to write, I continue to work, and I continue to share with students. So when Dr. Gallimore contacted me, I'm on sabbatical for this year, writing a book. I have a cartel collection finishing. I have a book on masculinities. I'm working on a book, Dancehall Scattered Collection. I'm putting out another version of Chicken Back Gravy. I'm doing a lot of writing and some research. But I always want to share with the students to answer questions where possible and to also encourage and mentor students along the way. Because regardless of the kind of economic situation you come from, whether you come from uptown, downtown, out of town, round town, our students have a lot of issues that they're trying to work through as a part of this journey. And first year students come, I know a lot of you, with a lot of questions that you want answered. How do you do this? How do you keep yourself at the forefront? How do you keep your dreams at the top of the agenda? And how do you keep them carrying you to the place where you want to end up? Graduation, straight A's. At the end of my first degree journey, after struggling quite a lot, coming on full time after the second year of part time. So it took me 4 years to do the first degree, 2 years full time, 2 years part time. Struggling very hard, having a lot of difficulties financially. Going abroad, yes, I did one summer abroad, working abroad, to work one summer, coming back, getting mainly straight A's, and ending up with a first class honors first degree after a whole heap of challenges and still keeping my son in school. My son is also a graduate of this university. And so along that journey, one of the things that I learned was that the University of the West Indies provides you with a lot of opportunities to also carry you through I read every notice board. I followed up with scholarships and grants, and I made sure that I networked quite significantly using every opportunity that was there so that I could then achieve my goals and move on to the next level. As a part of my journey as an undergraduate, and I also did a Master's of Philosophy and Political Science in the Department of Government at UA. I was granted a scholarship to do that. And at the end of that, I taught in that department for 6 years as teaching assistant, adjunct, and working in different capacities. Then I was given a Fulbright scholarship to do my PhD abroad. Remember, I came in as an adult student because I had my high school years were cut short. So I came in and I had to catch up. So all of my cohort was already 8 years ahead of me. When I came on campus, the people that I was spending a lot of time with in my classes were 8 years younger than I am because my cohort had already gone. So I was kind of behind the curveball. So I had to do a lot of running to catch up and pass out some of these people that I had been in school with. It's been a wonderful journey. And one of the things I tell people, hold on to your dreams and remember that you still have to do the work, still have to put in the work. Even in this COVID-19 timeline, that is very challenging for many of us. It's very important that we put in a lot of the work that is important so that we are able, in a real sense, to continue to achieve our dreams, keeping in touch with the people that we want to keep in touch with. Let me share the last slide. I think this slide has all my contact information. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and my Facebook is called Chicken That Gravy is also on Instagram, so you can follow us. And I also I do work under another entity called the Dancehall Archive and Research Initiative. We work on dancehall, and we're trying to put out some works, collaborating with some people in Mexico and elsewhere. But of course, I want to stop sharing the screen, so I need to put my face back up here, right? And so, as a part of my own journey and the work that I've done, my own life's work, I consider the University of the West Indies, the Mona campus in particular, but the regional body, to be a very important location to achieving your dreams. And the first degree is the first step. You coming in, you are the 2020-2021 group. Coming in, the first degree is the first step on what can be a wonderful journey, a very empowering journey, a very enlightening journey, and a journey that can achieve many goals along the way and put you in a position where you can be all that you want to be. So welcome. I'm grateful to be sharing with you. And if there are any questions, I'm not sure how I'll be able to get them from the YouTube. But thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions. And remember, from chicken back gravy, from poverty to professor, it's a big jump, a huge dream, and I remain forever grateful to the campus and the University of the West Indies. Thank you. Questions? Am I able to take questions, or do I? Can I? Okay, so I'm looking at the questions. I see questions in the box. I hope you're hearing me. And there's a bike passing. I didn't breathe. They were close to the road. Why did I make it and others did not? Well, and I'm going to talk about why I made it as a teenage dropout from high school because I think one of the things that I'm going to say is that my mother was a very determined woman and she was extremely supportive. We were poor, but she was a dreamer, and so she kept on putting in my head the things that I could become and what she would want me to achieve and things that she would have wanted to achieve if her life had been different. She was a poor woman from rural St. Catherine, and her destiny was to become a farmer's wife. So she ran away from country at 16 and did not go back. She always told me that story. So I think my head was full of dreams, and I'm not talking about the one that you sleep and don't wake. I'm talking about the waking dream. I wanted to achieve. I was a very bright child. I actually got a government scholarship from primary school to go to high school. So I knew that I was a brilliant child and that I could achieve. And let me tell you, I was very determined because in my book, in Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights, one of the chapters is called Poverty is Not a Nice Thing. Life lesson number 4, I hated poverty. It was not something I wanted to live in. What prompted me to write this motivational book? Really, at this point in my life, and this book I wrote it in 2019, it's self-published, and at this point in my life, one of the things that I try to do is to give back and to share a lot about myself. I talk a lot about dancehall and the culture and all of that, but I wanted to share something about myself and my journey because I feel, especially reading in the Star and the Gleaner and online, many people are searching for answers. Young people want to know how to make it big. Let me tell you guys, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. So all the overnight success stories you see floating around, remember you have to put in a lot of work on the back end to get to that level. So it takes some amount of work and you have to put in the time to get there. And I wanted to put that in my book as well so people would understand that when you see someone moving through life, they didn't just wake up big right there. So I wanted to give that information out there so people would have it packaged. Not everyone has the opportunity to have me in a presentation format. And I find that having a love of books from early, that books tends to outlast the lifetime of the person whose ideas are captured in. How critical is the power of association? And when you talk about the power of association, which association are you talking about? Association with ideas, association with people? I'm not sure. But the power of association for me, I'm thinking of the way that you would associate your own self and your own life with ideas that are important to you and with dreams that are critical to you. Very critical. It is important for you to surround yourself with people, surround yourself with ideas, surround yourself with entities that are important to how you want to move through life. And so it is very important that you identify what will be important to you in life and try to associate with them. It means, of course, that sometimes you're gonna have to change your own group as you go along, or your group will morph and change as you go along. Very critical. You speak about the importance of entrepreneurship. Do you think that is stress enough at UA? The University of the West Indies, has been pushing for the last 5 or more years on entrepreneurship as important. For example, in the sciences, a lot of entrepreneurship is going on. The university, for example, at research days, we didn't have one this year, but at our research days, we stress the idea of being able to transform your work into products, goods, or services that can bring back resources. We're stressing that a lot. Students have to listen and listen within the timelines. I'm in the Institute of Caribbean Studies. One of our flagship programs is the ESEM program, and that is the cultural, cultural, the ESEM program, which is the entertainment and cultural enterprise management program. And so it's talking about managing cultural entities, cultural individuals, creative actors, and it provides students with a wealth of importance. I've had students on the sciences from your faculty come across on the courses with us in the ESEM program and in the ICS because of the importance, for example, of culture to our lives broadly. So I'm inviting some of you guys over there to do a free lecture when you get the chance. We love having you over there because it's wonderful to see the scientists balancing as well with the culture, which they are all a part of. So entrepreneurship is very critical, and the university has been stressing it. Dr. Kadam Kanaif, I know, set up the Entrepreneurship Center, which also provides a lot of information and courses that you can participate in as well to help you flesh out. And of course, over by the Bonus School of Business and Management, you can also get. So again, electives are important. You can get yourselves attached to courses that will help to build out the overall focus of your first degree. But it's very all of these things, eh? What types of philanthropic activities are you a part of? Well, I engage in a lot of philanthropic activities, but most of them I don't publicize them. So I work with parents of teenage girls, when it's parent, and I work with both the girls and their parents because it's a joint activity to sort of encourage them to see that there is life beyond teenage pregnancy. They have very traumatic experience of families when their daughters turn up pregnant. So I work with those families. I do work with the Ministry of Culture, again, working with women. I also work with I do work behind the scenes also with my alma mater, St. Diego High. We're connected to St. Diego High, assisting in various ways and giving contributions for students, helping with books and all of that. I help different people, families every year at about this time when school is just starting with books. I do several book lists for back to school as a part of that kind of activity. And I always, of course, make myself available to speak with young people. There's an entity in my community in Linfield, Mommy and Me, which deals with young mothers. I work with that entity as well to talk to the girls, to bring resources to them, to make connections. So there are a lot of different things that I try to do. What are the main challenges you face as a first-gen student? And one of the challenges that I faced as the first person in my family to go to a university was you have to build your own roadmap. So, for example, in my group of friends, to get students loan and student spaces right now, you need guarantors. I didn't have anybody in my immediate family who could be a guarantor for me. If they didn't exist, but to be a guarantor, you have to have a structured job with a pay slip and all of that. I had to depend on friends, and it's a good thing I had been working and meeting people and was more adult. So my students' loans were guaranteed by friends who were none of them were guaranteed by any family member because I had no family member who could guarantee it. My father was dead by that time, and he was an absent father. So that was a big challenge for me. And just the kind of roadmap. You don't have anybody to give you any ideas as to what to expect or how to deal with issues. So I had to build my networks, and my friends on campus were very helpful, and different departments on campus were very helpful. I think the university can offer mentorship and guidance is a very important support that you can offer to students who are first gen students because for example, in my family now, I can support and I have supported my son and my nephew and other people who are coming through and going to the university. And whether you will use it or otherwise, but the university has to offer to students who are first gen students mentorship and guidance from individuals who have already gone that way because how do you access funding? What are the types of funding available? Students don't the only option. Should you make yourself, prepare yourself to be able to access grants, fellowships, scholarships? What do you do if you are having a problem with your studies? How do you get support when you're going through depression? There are different things that students have. You will have support systems, but first generation students I know have a lot more that they have to work through because they don't really have anybody at home who has walked the university pathway. And so it's different for you. And so those are some of the support. And I think mentorship is very important, one of the areas that is going to be critical. Let me tell you, when I came to you, let me tell you guys, I was going to be a doctor that didn't happen. And then I applied to econ because I had done A-level econ. I went to Eden classes to get all my subjects. And so I done A-level econ and I loved econ because econ has a very social side to it. So I applied to social sciences. And when they did not accept me because I don't know what I didn't have. I didn't have maths at the right grade or something. When I saw the syllabus for econ, I said no because it had a lot of math in it. Econ is a very math kind of subject, as you guys would know. So when I went to UA, I was not going to come to UA at all because I was very, turned off. Rejection is not a good thing. And then my colleague at work, who was a university graduate at that time, a manager, said to me, you must apply, continue, go through. And so I applied to Caramak. But when I came on campus, I was very apprehensive. I was actually quite terrified because remember, guys, I'm working. I have responsibility for my son, my mom, my little sister. I'm running a household and I'm traveling from Vincent. I was apprehensive, but one of the things I was sure of, the most positive thought, is that getting a first degree was going to change my life and give me better options. And here I am today. So it was a good thing. Um, what do you think your son learned from watching you on your journey? Well, one thing, my son learned the value of education, but also the value of holding on to your dreams and really working hard. So I would get up at 4:30 or 4 a.m. to get ready to leave Lindsay. At one point we had to start leaving at 5:30 because of the traffic. And I didn't drive, I didn't have a car, you see. I was taking public transportation or getting a ride. So I put a lot of time and I had to study and I had to pay bills and I had to do everything. So my son learned the power of determination and of fortitude, and believing in yourself. Like seriously, there were times when all I had was just faith, and my mother was very supportive. Let me tell you, that woman was. My mother is dead now, 18 years, but that woman was there to support me, even though she didn't have any money. Because remember, let me say to you, first gen students, sometimes your family members don't have money, and sometimes they may not have a university background, so they don't know to tell you, how to navigate SAS and to sit on like that. My friends will tell me about sitting on the big show of arts faculty. A lot of people don't have that kind of family background. But my mother tell me, you have to keep on going. So she would be there for me. She was very supportive. And I think for me that is something that was a part of the family structure. So my son learned a lot about family network, support, but struggle, and also the value of an education. Why did I want it? To change my life and to help me to be able to help my family. So do you think that your lectures help our students enough? And I'm going to speak from my experience and for myself. Because of who I am and because of the way that my journey has all these different aspects to it, I look out for my students in every way. So I'll sit in a class and I've been doing this for a while, guys. I mean, I was in the department going 93 to 95. I've been teaching. I taught my first tutorial as a third year undergraduate in 1996. So I've been at UA, right? 25 years or so. But so I look out for my students and I look out for them in different ways. You can look at students and know when they're not eating at all. When there's only some achievements and about to them eat overnight for the whole day. You know that you can see it on their face. So we look out for students in different ways. We know when students are failing, not because of a lack of effort or a lack of brain power, because everybody who comes to you matriculate. We all matriculate. So I look out for my students. We try to make sure you cross over the barrier. We take care of you. Lecturers are different people. I speak for myself and for the people that I'm close to, who are my friends who are also lecturers on campus, heads of departments. We look out for our students and we try to ensure that we carry across the waters while we are also managing our own burdens. We love our students. I do. What have I envisioned for myself for the future? Well, writing more books, um, continuing. Honestly, my future is I have a dog. You heard him barking, so I've gotten into the idea with pets. So I'm spending more time giving back. One of the things that I want to do is to give back more to young people. Working with my young people, which is why again I wrote Taking Back Gravy and Such Delights, life lessons on my journey, giving back to young people, not so young people, and really just continue to be a part of my society and of Jamaica. I've always wanted to remain here, not to migrate. I studied in the US, I did my PhD at Georgia Mason University, Virginia, but I wanted to come back here and to be here, to be accessible, continue working with Jamaican culture, and really giving back to the students at university and the people of Jamaica in whatever ways are possible. What advice would you give to students who are not confident in their abilities to obtain their degree? Let me tell you the advice I give to every student. Approach every piece of coursework, even if it is valued at 5%, as if it was a final exam. Give every piece of coursework your best. That is how you get the grades. Everyone in this room, in this meeting, matriculated to the university. You have different levels of matriculate, but everybody has a good brain. Stand on that and move forward. Treat your coursework as if it was the exam. Don't show just for exams. If you have a course that is based on only coursework, do each piece of coursework, no matter how small the percentage. And that is how you're going to make it. Remember, Professor Donna came to UA. She was working full time. She didn't own a car. She lived in Linston. That is when before we have told what you have to drive long, take bus. She had a son that she was responsible for. She had to take care of her family. She had to work. I was a bright person, but I was carrying a whole train load, tractor load on my back. My confidence level was not very high. But you have to believe in your own abilities and you have to breathe like, listen to me, you have to dream it, sleep it, live it, write it down on a piece of paper. They talk about vision board. In this book, I talk about what I used to use as my vision board. Before the vision board argument came up, I used to write things down in a little book, write things on a piece of paper and achieve them. And even now, I still do that. I have a weekly and a monthly thing. I use a diary, a paper diary, and I mark off the things. And I have a thing on my computer. It's a month, so you have to build your vision board and keep focus. Put on your blinkers. Don't follow social. Let me say, social media is not necessarily always your friend. Half of what is on it is not true. What the other quarter, other 25% is added to, and maybe a quarter of or less is true. Keep your focus. You will get to the end of it. Focus on it and approach every single piece of coursework as if it was a final exam. Give it your all. You will succeed, and keep close to your lecturers. Make sure you keep close to your lecturers. Aye. How important is it to know yourself? And that comes out, as I said in this book, Who Am I? The first chapter. Know yourself. First chapter. Who am I? Know yourself. It is very important to understand who you are in your university journey, in your life journey. Why? We are not plastic people, even though there are a lot of plastic bodies on display now. We are actually different human beings with different capacities and different opportunities and different resources. So everybody has to know themselves. You have to know. As Jamil says in one, I have that song on the thing. My mother, I'm a bank teller. Some people have mothers who are in jobs that are high profile. Some people have mothers who are sell out a market. Some people have mothers who don't even have a job. And that dictates a lot what is going to happen in your life. Know your family backbone, know the resources, know how many people have to pause in the house that they build in, or the dream that they have for themselves as a parent to send you to university. And therefore understand that your journey is special to you. It's a very beautiful journey. It's special to you. No, some people have families that are able to help them with their coursework. Some people have to be watching this thing on a phone. Some people have a tablet. Some people have 3 screens. It depends on your resources. Know yourself and know your capacity here. And that will help carry you through. Because you see, you will be able, once you understand who you are and where you are positioned, you can craft your own roadmap, the one that is for you. You are on campus, first generation. You are somebody who will be able to craft your own roadmap because you build it out of your own reality. Not something you see on social media, not something on their dream and pink wall and all. I see a lot of US students on their dreams. Yes. But that's not what your reality is. Yours. You know the truth of it. Know yourself. Very important. COVID-19 has impacted everybody, university, the students, everybody. It has isolated a lot of our students because many students come to UA also for the experience of university, being there, whether you're a commuting student or you're living on hall. You want to be there to interact with people. You want to come to Professor Hope's office at UA and sit down in the office and talk to her, that kind of thing. What COVID-19 has done, it has isolated our students and put everybody behind a screen like this one. So I'm talking to a screen. I have no idea who I'm talking to. When I'm in the Blackboard Collaborate, I usually ask my students to, even if you're lying in bed, which some of them are doing, as I said, them face ready for the video. Like I said, show me your face before we start. So everybody says good morning and so. Because that kind of isolation also takes you away from the kind of networking, the contact with your peers, the sharing of information that you could have shared more easily. And many students have issues with technology. The internet not so good. Some people don't have a proper and tablets also. So it has impacted on people a lot. And some of my students have emailed me, they are depressed, they are struggling, but we are trying to work through. and see how relevant is our mental health. Some of my students who are, I'm on sabbatical, but I've been talking to them in different ways, and some of them are depressed. Some people didn't get to go to work. Some of you first gen students. Some people didn't get to go to work. The summer work that they would do for school and all of that. People are depressed. People are stressed. Depression and stress. People are anxious and worried, and their mental health therefore becomes a challenge. I mean, your mental health is very important. Find things that make you happy and reach for those. Whether it's listening to music, talking to friends, people like myself, we have a garden and a dog, you deal with that because the isolation that COVID-19 has put people under is impacting on your mental health. It's okay to be anxious, but it's not okay to make it overwhelm you. It's okay to feel like it's sad and low because it's a difficult time, but it's not okay to allow it to overwhelm you. Reach out to people instead of going to scrolling to Instagram and feeling sad that everybody's life is better than yours. Many of those pictures are show back, some of them. Call somebody that you can talk to. Go and have a chat with your friends on WhatsApp, talk about things that are important and things that make you happy. That is something that you can do. Take a walk if you're able to take a walk, make your family take you on a little drive out if you're able to go on like a drive out. Do things to make your mental health, keep your mental health above board. If all things get too difficult, fancy to a professional, we still have our health center on campus. You can access what is available. But it's a very difficult. COVID-19 has impacted on everybody. Some families have lost their income. Very hard on families, depending on the kind of work you do. Students are part of families, and this is something that will impact on them. So again, we have to keep the focus because all of us, the whole world is under the wave of whatever COVID-19 is. Whether it's real or fabricated, the world is struggling with it. And we are all going to come out on the other side. I'm very sure about this. Better abilities, more technologically savvy because we all have to learn how to use the technology. So again, focus on the positive. Keep your chin up. That is what I want to say. What advice would you give to for parents and guardians in terms of the best ways to support their first generation students? Learn as much as you can about the university, learn about the structures, learn about what your children are going through. Try to learn about it. So you don't have to learn the coursework, because I mean the coursework, some of us, science and it's a different world. But listen to your children. Sometimes they come home and they want to complain. Let them vent and then encourage them. So try and understand what they are going through, because a university, especially for a first generation university student, let me tell you, first degree is the hardest hurdle you're going to jump. Sometimes it comes with the cosmos of throw obstacle at you. All kind of things jumping out of the woodwork at you. So parents have to give their children as much support as possible. Be there for them. If you see them struggling, be there for them. If you see them distracting themselves, try to help them to refocus. Sometimes a little, sternness, a little quarrelsome is necessary. Remind them of the role that they are also playing, and be there as supportive as much as possible. That's one of the things. My mother was very supportive, even though she didn't have any money, you see. But she was extremely supportive. She made sure, I would be home, she'd try and make sure she cooked whatever was there, did a lot for me. So all of these things are very important as a part of the journey. And so parents should try to be as supportive as possible. I'm seeing Dr. Gallimore on the screen. Hi, Dr. Gallimore, yes. And so being a supportive as possible for their students, yes.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. We're having some technicalities, which was part of the challenge, but hey, that's part of what COVID-19 is teaching us all, pivoting and doing the best that we can and making changes and hoping for the best, that type of thing,
Yes.
So many of the things that our students are going through in terms of with the technology, we are also going through them as well. You're on sabbatical, so some of the challenges that we have to be circumventing. Fortunately for you, you can wait until next year and see how it goes.
Well, I had to survive.
All right, so
Remember,
really, Professor Hope can't.
Remember, I was there for the
True,
spring semester,
true, true, true,
the
true.
first, the first run of everything. First run of everything. It was like
Awesome.
pulling teeth without cocaine. So it was. I know what is happening. I've been, I know it was very difficult, but yes, we are going along.
That's so, so true. Alrighty. So really we want to really thank you for all that you've shared with us. You shared your story, your absolutely compelling story. Some of us can't imagine it, can't imagine being in a situation where you are the breadwinner for your family. Your mother is looking to you. It's something else. It must have been something else, and you're going to school at the same time. you know
And
the
working.
FST students tend to wonder. Amazing, absolutely amazing story. We really continue to be inspired by it, and we trust that our students will learn those lessons too. Sometimes we have the younger, yeah, we have the relatively younger students. Social and arts and humanities education may have a slightly more mature set, but the freshest ones come through FST. And so the fact that they're coming to understand that there's so many things that other persons can do and make it through, it's really very, very inspiring.
Yes.
I want to speak back a little bit in terms of entrepreneurship. I'm going to actually go to the quote that you gave. You said, if you come from a poor family, why would you expect that a single job, a regular job, will give you enough resources to achieve your goals and dreams? That is what you said in your book.
Yes, I did.
And you did speak about the fact that entrepreneurship is important and that we are focusing more on it here at UWI. Do you think that there is more that we can do to show students that the degree has value, but to also recognize that there's a need to have a plan B, basically?
Or a plan AA, because one of the things that I talk about in Chicken That Grade is the fact that I think this is the first time in my whole life at this year that I only have one job. I mean, I do a column for the Observer, which I'm not done for a few months, but I'm always doing several things. So I usually have three jobs, or so. Because what I found out coming from a poor background is that you have a job, but that if you have other skills, you have to transform them into resources. So I remember I used to do copy
Yes, yes.
editing for people. I used to do typing for people. I used to help people because one of the things that you find is, and I went to Durham College before I came to US, so I type very fast even now. 140 words per minute. I can type very fast. So you turn some of those skills, yes, into money, because you
Yes,
recognize that if you want to achieve certain things, then you're gonna have to use your
yes,
skills. So a lot of our students, I find exactly for where I am in the Institute of Caribbean Studies or by Humanities, a lot of our students are creatives, and so we have students who are in the university, but they are makeup artists, they are models, they are
yes,
singers, are producers, they are promoters, so we have people who are using their other skills to provide either a service or to create goods. We have students who are selling products. So you have people who are
right.
people. Some people can cook, so they are making goods for sale. Students who are
Yes,
coming to the sciences are going to be working with phenomena that they can transform into products. There are lots of different industries that are opening up now. So I encourage students that to look towards, based on where your area of work is, to look towards ways that you can
yes.
do additional work. I hosted a radio program for several years. I was on Hot 102, then I was on News 93 FM. And because I have a first
Okay.
degree and I learned how to do radio. So I mean, you can do other things that add value. I have seen university students who are doing fashion, so they are making bathing suits and they are making outfits. I see them on
Yes,
Instagram showcasing and they are doing
yes,
law, they are doing medicine. A lot of students are doing that now because they realize that
this is true.
entrepreneurship is important. So a lot of students who are in the room, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity now, for example, for natural products. Like I use coconut oil, natural coconut oil,
Right.
and castor oil, which I buy. My sister-in-law buys it in the market in Lindsay. There's a lady who supplies me with it. Students who are from rural areas or even Kingston, you can get those products and then
Yes.
prepare them, and people will buy them. They are very popular. Lemongrass, there's a big
Yes.
lemongrass industry. We call it fever grass. All of these things I think that students can think about: the natural
Even
products, culinary art, the fashion, the makeup. Yeah, because this is the world. I mean, you can be a medical doctor, a scientist, and you can sell other things on the side, or you can have another thing. Because this is the way that the world is going now.
That's so true. That is so true. And the truth is as well that, we do, as you spoke about in terms of, makeup and all of those things. I do recall when we've had expos on the spine in the faculty, where students, we have persons with their little makeup booths and, persons who do a variety of things, crochet and that suits and stuff like that.
And
So it
jewelry,
is true,
jewelry for that. Yes,
we all have
jewelry,
to
they do
do
jewelry.
different.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it is true. We have to be thinking more than one way, and can be putting all our eggs in one basket, basically, so very much so. And I guess as lecturers too, we have to kind of show the way type of a thing, and so that's going to be very important. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Another quotation from your book says there are greater things in life to fear, like poverty and deprivation, and the high
Oh,
levels of disrespect that come with this subject position. You want to
oh yes.
share just, as we're wrapping up, what were some of the things that you went through as a result of not having enough of having that poverty in your life?
Well, let me put it this way. Jamaica, I mean, in Jamaica, we advance into something called political correctness, but we're not there yet. And you'll find, if you even look on social media, you'll find that Jamaicans, as Jamaicans, we tend to, and I put in Jamaican parlance, you'll say, we take step with people, especially people who are poor, far easily. It's almost as if they are invisible.
Yeah,
We'll say very unkind things about people. Many times, their situation is what causes them to be in that position. They don't have much choice because that's the situation they find. But
yes,
so we say anything about them because we understand that they can't do anything much about. So when you're poor, some people. I mean, I remember when I was attending high school, St. Jago High School, and we wore a green tunic and we had a checkered blouse. It's a checkered blouse, so the material is a very soft material.
yeah,
And because of the way that my family situation was very bad, the color of my blouse it was very frayed. So my
yeah.
mother would take the cover off and turn it because people are poor know how they work. Right. So I remember I was in the line at the
Mhm.
tuck shop one day and I'm standing in the line and this girl tackled me about my color, No, I don't have no control over the color of my uniform. My mother is doing her best. I'm wearing my free out neck color, my free out neck, because she turned the
Yes,
color and it's inside free. And people take step. Let me tell you, people say things directly to your face because they know that your situation. So I had to tackle this
yes,
girl. People, young people, I'm not saying they must fight people, but I'm saying I had to defend my color. It's not my fault that my color is straight and that my poor mother is doing her best. And that the government scholarship at that time was absolutely nothing. It was $40, a check for $40, which paid the $35 caution fee at St. Jago, which was like the school fee. So we didn't get books, we didn't get anything with it. Not like now we actually get money that can do something. And so I was
yes,
what I did, I was very adversarial because of some of these things I learned. I was very defensive about a lot of things because people go out of their way to tackle you. And so we do it all the time in Jamaica. You're walking by to somebody looking a little weird, and people and students on campus come to me and they'll complain that other students are not sharing stuff with them, or other students are not, be involved with them because maybe they don't have on the right clothes or the hair don't look right. And
hmm,
focus on your degree and also find your group. One of the things you find your group, because
yes,
let me
yes,
people will fall out of the sky. They will come up out of the woodwork just to take step with you because of your situation. You have to rise above your situation and leave that behind. That's one thing that I did. I left
yes,
all those things behind. But from this angle where I'm sitting, I understand the
yes,
ways that people can harm other people with their words. Just the words, you know. They say sticks and stones will break my bones, but names can never hurt me. I don't know about that part of it. People have very harmful words and phrases in their mouth that they use against other people. And in Jamaica, we're still learning political correctness. We're not there fully, we're getting there. But young people are coming from situations where they are working through these things. Brave up yourself. You're young adults,
Yes.
you're coming through, brave up yourself and just work and get your degree and move on to the next level. And again, put on your blinkers. Don't be distracted by the shine and glisten and pretty that is out there. You are going on your
Yeah.
own journey and you're heading there in your own way. But
Awesome.
yes, yes.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so very much. This has been a really inspiring session and inspiring evening, you know, and I trust that our students will really take on the things that you've shared, and they will recognize that if somebody else has done it and made it through with all of the challenges that you faced on the journey, then they can do it too. You know,
Yeah,
and
okay,
we do
let me
know
tell
that,
you,
you know,
you can do
they're
it.
unique challenges.
Yes, you can do it. I think I have it in the book. You can do it. You can always do it. You can always do it. Just believe and set your goals and remember, no. Let me say again, hard work don't kill anybody. You have to be willing to work hard, but also willing to work smart. It's two kinds of work, working hard, but also working smart. So working hard, you know, you put in the hard work, but working smart,
Awesome,
you
awesome,
structure your life and you put in what you need to put in, build your networks, plan ahead, make sure and you will get there. Believe me, you will.
awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, excellent. So our hour is over already, you know, and we really, as I said it before, really want to thank you for taking the time out of your sabbatical. We know that sabbatical time is precious time, and yes, you know, you're kind of grounded because of COVID-19, but I am sure it's whatever advantages are to be accrued as a result of that. If anybody is going to find those advantages and use them, it will be you. So thank you so very much. And students, be inspired and take a decision that you are well able to do all that needs to be done in order to get the degree that you came here for. As my associate dean in undergrad matters says, you know, no one is giving you a certificate of participation coming here to you, right? You're not going to be getting a certificate of participation. You have to finish your course. What you start, take that decision that you're going to finish it and run the race, and you will make it through. All right. So thank you again, Professor Hope, and we wish you all the best in all of your endeavors. You had spoken about all of your entrepreneurial, not only entrepreneurial, your philanthropic work, and I find it absolutely amazing. And bless you, bless you, bless you, because you know some persons will come out of the situation, and having come out of the situation, you know, they don't remember where they're coming from. But the fact that you're interacting and you're still in the lives of people, and the mere fact that you even agreed to do this this evening, you know, it speaks volumes to, and your care and your love for the students just shone through in everything that you said this evening. And so we just want to bless you and thank you for your all that you're doing and all that you will continue to do. Wish you all the best in all of the books that you say you're writing, and the second volume. I look forward to my second volume of
Of chicken back
chicken
gravy.
back gravy and such delights. So that's part two is what it's going to be.
It's gonna be this is chicken back gravy. It's gonna be a second serving. I think it will be a second serving, and then we have one called the dessert. I think that's what it is. So the guys are working on the title. But thank you so much, and I want
Awesome,
to encourage all
awesome,
the students
awesome.
and big up all the students and big up everyone who is a part of this. And thank you guys for having me. It's always for my students. I tell them, my students, whichever faculty, always for the students, and it's always for the students. They are the ones who make me who I am, and I'm always grateful. Thank you.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Bless you, bless you, bless you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving the studio now. And so, we just want to thank you for watching. And I know that many of you will watch it hereafter. And so, blessings, 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 and abundance. All right, you take care now. Bye.